The last paper SAT ever is almost here, and everyone knows that the digital SAT is much harder than the paper SAT. So this might be your last chance to get the highest score you possibly can before the SAT becomes way harder for you. So how can you make sure you get the highest score on this very last paper SAT ever? Let me put you on game. The very first impactful thing you can do to literally change the scope of your score is to find and study all of the recent SAT exams that have been given out. And yes, I mean you want to find the latest exams, you want to find the latest questions, and you might be asking, where on earth can you find these resources? Well, there's a website that I found called GuideMe.edu where you can download a lot of past SAT exams, and these SAT exams are ones that have actually been given to students within the past year or two. So these are very up-to-date questions. Now, why would you want to be doing the up-to-date questions? Well, chances are these are the questions you're going to be facing on the last SAT ever. A lot of the questions are most likely going to be repeats of previous exams because one, College Board is sometimes lazy, and two, they have been proven to repeat problems from previous exams on current exams. So if you do manage to find and study all these past SAT exams, a lot of these problems you're going to be facing will just be memory joggers. You're going to be like, hey, I've done this problem before, and you have, so you're almost automatically going to get it right. The next best thing you can do, and this is assuming that your strong suit is math and your weak suit is reading, you want to begin in-depth analyzing your reading mistakes, okay? You want to do that just because of the fact that most students, when they take reading SAT exam practice or even do practice passages, if they get a question wrong, they'll most likely read the answer explanation but not really digest or actually understand, hey, maybe I got this wrong because I was using information that was not presented in the passage to make this inference, right? Maybe I assumed that this guy was a girl's father even though nothing really pointed to that in the passage. I just used my own personal experiences or information. You actually want to read the answer explanations and then rework the problem that you just got wrong. See how you can possibly see why this is the answer. So a big part of the reading SAT exam is the fact that it's more psychology versus context clues, which is something that a lot of people do not understand. In fact, it took me the longest time to understand this, and for those who don't know, I actually used to get 600s on my SAT reading practices, but on the actual exam I was able to get a 740, and that is simply because I realized that the SAT reading is more of a psychology exam than it is a context clue exam. If you understand how to approach these problems, things will become much easier. And the best way, again, is to in-depth analyze your reading mistakes, really understand why you got the problem wrong. The next best thing you can do, and this has been the cornerstone of SAT practice since the beginning of this YouTube channel, and it's been nearly 3 years, and that is you want to utilize Khan Academy. Khan Academy has come a long way from what it used to be. Alright, before it was just, math, reading practice, a bunch of topics, some videos for those topics, and then some practice questions. And that's all I needed to get the highest score possible. What the frick was that? And that's all I needed to get the highest score possible. And today, now Khan Academy has like an AI tutor, they have digital SAT prep, they got a bunch of stuff going on, but all you have to do, and this is for people who get overwhelmed by all the resources Khan Academy offers for SAT, you literally just have to do those practice questions for those subtopics for both the math and reading sections, okay? You want to go to a list of topics, right? Do them one by one until you get 5 questions answered in a row correctly. Watch those videos associated with each of the topics, and that's all you have to do. And keep doing that again and again, and that's all the practice that you're gonna need to really improve your score visibly. You're literally gonna see your practice test score increase week by week, even day by day, as long as you're putting in 3 to 4 hours of Khan Academy work every single day. And this is a very special tip. You want to develop your own set of SAT notes, and that is exactly what I did, because by developing your own set of SAT notes, you're actively rehearsing the information you've been studying this whole time every single day. There's almost no way you're gonna forget what you just learned or you just studied, and that's really what helped me improve my SAT math and reading score. Was I literally developed notes as I studied, and I would make this notes like a study guide, and as I would practice for the SAT, at the end of every session I'll review the study guide, add to it, review some more, and at the beginning of every session I'll review the same set of notes or maybe add to them for a new idea or a new trick that I learned. I'll put that, and my study guide would just be like the best resource ever. And for those who do not know, I end up selling the study guide for about like $10,000 $1,000 altogether. So it's proven to be very useful and help a lot of students. And you don't need to use my study guide, develop your own. I honestly recommend developing your own just so you can actually rehearse information. But this is how you are going to prepare for your last SAT paper exam ever and get the highest score you possibly can. And no matter what your timeline is, you want to make sure you are focusing primarily on SAT math. The reason I say this is because SAT math has been proven to show more growth among students than the SAT reading scores, just because of the fact that with SAT math, you have tons of resources. There's literally a bunch of YouTubers, a bunch of content creators, resources, free, paid, everything that discuss how to do SAT math problems very quickly, very efficiently. There's a bunch of free videos on this channel as well. SAT math is the section where you can really boost your score just by learning 5 or 6 tricks. You're gonna get like 10, 11 questions correct. So because of that change in questions correct and accuracy, you're almost guaranteed to increase your score by 60 to 70 points within a week. So let's say you're at a 700 right now and you learn like 6 or 7 tricks, you'll be at like a 780. And if that's all you need to get your goal score, then why not just do that? Why not just really hone in on SAT math? SAT reading is always a toss-up as it is. Yes, you can improve your score. You can really focus on the writing section and the reading comprehension section. But at the end of the day, math is where you really want to maximize your SAT score as much as possible, because that is more guaranteed to really like show score growth. And if you want to make sure you're improving your score, SAT math is the way to go. And focusing more on SAT math, yes, I may have said, you really want to focus on it to improve your score, but the question is how? How exactly can you really make sure you're getting these SAT paper math questions correct? Well, the best thing you can do is study linear equations and the heart of algebra section. So if you just do a simple Google search of SAT heart of algebra questions, you'll see all the topics / question types you can possibly get for that section. That's like 40% of the entire SAT math exam. So even if your SAT exam is tomorrow, you're almost guaranteed to improve your score by like 50 to 60 points just if you really focus on linear equations and the heart of algebra section. So no matter where you are in your SAT journey, no matter if it's the day of the exam, you better pick up that book, do that Google search, and study as much of heart of algebra as you possibly can. And once that is done, then you can move on to topics like quadratics, some of the more small topics like imaginary numbers and ratios, long division, but heart of algebra should be your main primary focus. And that is how you will ace the last paper SAT ever. If you have a question, comment down below. I will answer almost immediately, so please be sure to leave any questions below because I want you to get the highest score you possibly can.